When is the best time to travel, flex, and celebrate what you have accomplished?
I think you should celebrate a lot. And the reason I think you should celebrate a lot is because you're reminding your team and the people around you that you're constantly winning. A lot of times you see really, really great football programs or businesses, they just get used to winning, and celebrating is a part of victory. Talking about all the good things that are going positive in your business or in your life lends itself to more winning and positivity in your life and in business. In regards to flexing, you know, I've not always been a really big fan of flexing. I'm actually still not a big fan of flexing, but I do understand the residual benefits of flexing. I just think that's how we signal to each other as humans. You celebrate with your internal group and your family on the things that you guys accomplished together, because most of the celebrating is going to be done in-house, and it should be.
What do you have planned for 2024?
I'm going to buy a bunch more real estate. I'm going to keep putting people in the real world. I'm going to grow that platform. I'm going to do a couple world podcast tours. There's some big ones lined up, and I'm going to keep investing in the brand and doing my best to help people all over the world get where they want to be in life. I might not have all the answers for every person, but there's a group of people out there that I think I can be helpful towards, and I genuinely enjoy doing it. I'm very lucky to even be able to be in a position to do it, so I'm very much looking forward to growing the brand this year.
So now, it's a very interesting question. I think you're gonna like a lot. Why do you think
I doubt it.
What's up?
I doubt it.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Why do you think most Americans are lazy asses?
Americans have just been winning for a really long time, man. It's the same cycle that you hear people talk about all the time. I didn't invent this. Good times create weak men create hard times create strong men. There's probably a lot of reality in that. I also think it's very human. You gotta understand, the average person live a better life than a king did 300 years ago. We have heating, cooling, indoor plumbing, Netflix, Uber Eats. It naturally makes you lazy unless you want more. And that's why I always think consciousness is so important. You have to find more consciousness and understand that there's more things in the world to get excited about, getting up and getting out of bed and going and getting after it every day. And I think the average American has it so good that it's hard to find that consciousness around them, because even if they're struggling with money a little bit, it's still substantially better than generations before them. America is just in this situation where we've won so much that we're fat and we're lazy. Yeah, sure. But at the same time, I think it's human in a lot of ways. That's why it's so important that you get out there and you look for bigger and better things to go achieve, because ultimately at the end of the day, if you don't, you're going to be unhappy. All the happiness is on climbing the mountain. I've never been happier than when I was chasing something. Sometimes, even though you get to celebrate when you achieve a goal, you kind of die inside a little bit because you had a purpose. And when you achieve that goal, you lost it. And that's why it's so important to keep scouting out new goals and new accomplishments and new levels of life. Because if you don't, you can find yourself quite empty when you've done everything you've always dreamed of. That's a dangerous place to be.
Relating to success, climbing a mountain. When you were climbing your mountain, when you were 20, what did you sacrifice to build up that momentum and ultimately achieve success?
It wasn't anything particularly special. I just lived very, very poor. I spent $50 a week on food. I had a Sam's Club membership. I'd cook all my meals at once. I had a shitty one-bedroom apartment. For the most part, man, I just lived really, really poor, and I worked really, really hard. I laid my days out before I started them, and I just got up and got after it every day and lived way under my means for a long time. And I don't think the formula is altogether that special, though. I think you could sit 100 guys down that have had a successful business, they tell you the same fucking thing. When it comes to somebody that's just getting started out, you got to be able to dream and see the future. Because if you can dream and see the future, you can withstand any pain to get there.
So, as a very anxious young man out there, you're always asking everyone, spamming the comments with, how long will it take them to achieve success this next year?
Don't know. However long it takes, bro. I say it all the time, man. I made goals for 30 that I was not yet qualified to make at 24 years old. As angry as I was when I got to 30 and I had not hit those goals, I had to understand and step back and realize that I didn't see at least 50% of the things that were gonna come my way and stand in between me and that goal. That's why I always say that the most dangerous thing in business is what you don't know that you don't know. I didn't realize the road was as long as it was on the ride that I picked. I very humbly found out how difficult that business would be. It makes sense for any young man who is overly anxious about the timing in which he meets his goal to calm the down and focus on where he's going instead of how fast he can get there, because he could get there faster, but he might build the business in the wrong way, he might set it up in the wrong way, and it could be all a house of cards if he does that. So sit down, take a deep breath, really think about what you want to do in the long term, build a solid foundation to any business or any relationship or anything that you're doing that you can stand on for the rest of your life, because you only get one shot at building a foundation. Any young man listening to this should consider that when he's feeling impatient, when he doesn't think it's going fast enough, it's going as fast as it needs to go, and sometimes sometimes going slow can save you.
So how should you reward yourself after you reach a big goal in your business?
I always thought that taking trips were a really good thing. Not that you should be like backpacking through Europe. I think that's bullshit. But particularly if you live in a small town, go spend a weekend in LA. Go spend a weekend in Miami. Go spend a weekend in a big city that has a real energy. I believe that cities have souls, man. You feel the electricity there. You feel the opportunity there. And I think that one way that you can find more consciousness is as you grow. Let's say you grow a business in a small town in Louisiana. If you go to LA, you're gonna soon realize that the people that live in the country club in your hometown aren't near as accomplished as the people living on the side of a mountain in Los Angeles. And you'll feel the energy in the air, and you'll see the entrepreneurs, you'll see the kid at the coffee shop making 40, 50 grand a month in the real world, working off his cell phone and his laptop, drinking coffee somewhere in Southern California. So I think getting out to other places and seeing what's possible, places like Miami, like I said, are really good for that. You can see people all the time like living this laptop life where they're making the same kind of money as somebody that would own a business that did $10 million in revenue. They just don't have the same risk. It's a really good idea to get outside and look and see what's around you. And that'll really help you understand where you can possibly go, help you dream bigger. That way you don't hit your goal and stay in that small town and you end up stuck.
Why do you think entertainment and sports can be so damaging around the holidays?
Well, I just think it's a distraction, man. I mean, I was saying earlier on a story, this is my favorite week of the year, man, because so many people are watching football or drinking and sitting on the couch watching movies. And it's one of the easiest times to get ahead because you can like really load the bullets in the gun for the next year and really think about all the things you want to accomplish and start to kind of lay them out, kind of dry fit them on your calendar and see how you can make everything work. Start estimating how long it'll take to get certain things done, looking where you already have commitments. There's like buoys in your schedule that you have to touch, things you have to do, and then just start plugging those pieces in, man. And next thing you know, you got an entire year built out and you're ready to get off the runway. Whereas the guy next to you, man, he might be watching some bullshit bowl game that you've never even heard of until this year. So these weeks leading up to New Year's are some of the most impactful weeks every year for me because of everything we're gonna do from a tax planning perspective, from a business perspective, podcast perspective, everything we need to do. And that's why I'm so serious about the guys joining the real world right now, is because they have this opportunity to get ahead right now while everybody else is asleep. And that's why I love the new thing we're doing with the winner's year. All these other guys that saying, I'm gonna join the real world after New Year's are gonna be sitting on the couch, drunk, watching football, while these guys are getting a head start on them an entire week before. And you know they're not gonna start January 1 because they're gonna be hung over January 1. They're gonna start January 3, January 4. And next thing you know, these guys that start right now, they're locked in and they're shooting off to the moon already when these other guys haven't even gone in there and put their little credit card number in yet. Nerds, bro. And so these guys that are joining the winner's year are gonna kill the game because they have the mentality of just start. And the guys that join this week get an accountability coach for the entire 24 year, which is unheard of. Why these other dudes are waiting this extra week. I'm gonna start when New Year starts. Bro, bullshit, you're not gonna start. The real winners are starting this week though. I'm super proud of those guys joining this week, man. That's a smart decision. It tells you a lot about a guy.
So we have this question. How can I make sure to stay true to my New Year's resolution?
Don't put it off, start. And then if you fall off the bandwagon, start again and just start again and start again and start again. Because what happens a lot of times, you go to start a habit and you fall off and you think you failed. But really, if you just start the habit again, you'll notice that every time you start the habit, you'll stick it a little bit longer, a little bit longer, a little bit longer. And so for me, working out's a really great example of this. Like you go through phases where you're not doing as good, just start again and then start again and then fail again and start again and start again and start again. Next thing you know, you're just starting every day. It's just clicking. Just keep starting over. Just don't give up on it. Be very stubborn about the goals that you have to put in place and the things that you have to do, and just start again. And even if you fail, just start again. That's what I would tell you.
Who did you first tell when you made your first $1 million?
When I first had $1 million in a bank account, called my dad, took a screenshot and sent it to him. He called me right away and we spoke, and then I just went to work. I just went to work. I mean, you know, the crazy thing about having $1 million in the bank is not immediately, but soon after you realize it's not that much money. Because what having $1 million does, or like being a millionaire or whatever, it just puts you around other people that make more millions. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a tricky thing. You know, you think that you're gonna be happy when you get there, and you're happy for a couple minutes, like graduating high school maybe. What happened was I got an overnight wire for a payment, and I got a notification on my phone, and I opened it up, and there was $1 million in the bank account. Like I said, 5 minutes later, it's back to work.
How can I get ahead of everyone else in 2024?
You can start right now, and the best way to start right now is join the real world. You have 18 professors in there that are absolutely multi-millionaires in the business they're teaching you in real time that day. That is nowhere else in the world are you gonna get that. On top of that, if you join before New Year's, you get a personal accountability coach for all of 2024. On top of your millionaire professor coach that's teaching you the exact business. It's just about taking action and just getting after it and doing it. Very interesting day of the year. Most of you have a decision to make. Am I gonna get drunk tomorrow, watch football, lie to myself about these goals that I'm supposed to set,
or make a commitment to something. Make a commitment that you cannot get out of, which is the best way to hit a goal. The best way to hit a goal is to put yourself in an atmosphere of people that hold you accountable. So this is what we're doing for you. Anybody that commits to the real world in the next 24 hours will get a full-time accountability coach. So not only are you gonna get the millionaire coach that already runs the business that you're trying to run, not only are you gonna get the camaraderie of the other guys that teach you how to exactly take each step to make money, you're gonna get an individual that its job is to make sure that you keep your commitments to yourself. So the only thing that you need to do at this point is make a decision that'll change your life by committing. Join us inside the Real World Campus today, and don't waste another year or let it go by. See you next year.